Hello again, it's Noob. Now, as some of you know, a while back I was playing around with some new profiles, and these turned out to be the really awesome multi-pick elite monith and abona picks. But they didn't start off like this. Multi-pick do extremely strong, flexible, awesome tools. I think most of us would agree. They are really tough and they take a lot of abuse. But when I was making these picks the first time, I didn't approach multi-pick to begin with. I actually used a laser cutting service. I wanted to see whether the profiles worked and whether they're the right size and scale and all those other things. And it left me with, well, this. Quite a few blanks. And this is okay. This is okay. But there's one problem with these. These aren't multi-pick steel. These prototypes, which are useful once or twice in a lock, are made of completely the wrong steel. So remember, multi-pick, great steel. These, not great steel. But I don't like waste. So some of them were used in a really cool sort of resin board. That was really awesome. Really loved that one. But I do have quite a lot of other things. I was thinking, what else can I do with them? Then I had an idea. Whilst this steel isn't great for lockpicks, it's great for prototyping, it's not great for lockpicks. If I double this up and made something out of it, maybe I could make it actually very strong in the right way. So I thought, why not make a lockpick ring out of a whole lockpick? And the idea with that is that I would use an entire lockpick, and I'd want to make the ring look like it was made out of an entire lockpick, not just lockpick themed, but I want that ring to actually look like it's made out of one single lockpick, but also look really nice and be really wearable. I don't think those are mutually exclusive. I want it to be sort of look, and if you understand what I'm saying, honest. I want people to go, oh wow, that's made out of literally a whole lockpick. You didn't cut it down to size or anything. It's like literally a lockpick, retaining the profile on there, and using all of the handle. And I think I've got this sorted. So the first piece of equipment that I'm going to use is this these ring pliers, and they essentially have a little screw here which acts as a stop. And what I'm going to do is going to use this pick, and I'm going to just gently put this in, probably this way around actually, and with this stopper quite far is just start to put a bend in it. Now I don't know of another way you can do this. You could probably beat it around a ring mandrel. I think that's what it's called, like this. These are really inexpensive, but I find that I have good control with these pliers, and I believe that they give a slightly better result overall. Notice how I'm just putting a gentle curve in here to begin with, like that, going along, and you'll see that it if you do this gently, it will reduce the amount of sort of kinks. It's virtually impossible doing it this way to get a perfect ring out of this, but it's sort of, how can I say, good enough. And you can use the ring mandrel later once you've got the curve. Now see, now this sort of passes through easily, and don't worry about any marring, you'll polish that off later. I'm going to undo this screw, and I'm going to just go round on another pass like this every couple of millimeters, and just do this. Now remember, I'm not an expert at this. I'm not a jewelry maker. I have no real idea what I'm doing, but I've had a few dry runs of this, and it seems to be working out pretty well. So I'm just going to go with it, and I'm not going to worry about it overly, okay? So I've kept going around and around, and I can only really say right now how well it works for this very soft steel, which, by the way, once it's doubled up like this and soldered, isn't soft anymore. It's really hard. So it could be, depending on what other picks are made from, they could literally be two strong and therefore too brittle for this process. I don't know. So I want something for, say, my index finger. So I've made it on the left hand, so I've made it too small. And that's because I want to make sure that I've got a nice sort of seal all the way around here. You'll also notice that where the metal is a different thickness, it's a little bit apart. So that's where I will use my, and yes, I did buy these, some sizing rings to see what my size is. Maybe I'll make it for a smaller finger. I seem to have a particularly fat index finger. No, that's all right. So what on earth is that? That's a size Z thing. Also, what you can do is use a soft mallet to just beat out any of these sort of kinks and go round like this. I found just so you can flatten all the bits that need flattening. It really does make a big difference if you just spend a little time. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that and its placement. What I'm going to use, and I don't have a way to show this, but I've got some, this is literally silver wire, like actual pure silver, and I've got some stainless steel wire here. Why do we need the stainless steel wire? Well, I'm just going to take a little bit of that off, if I can. I'm going to just tie off the tip, and it'll sort of hold the ring in its shape at the right size. So just clamp that down like that. Put that through here like this. Like that, come on. There we go. Make sure that's expanded nicely. Give it a couple of twists with your fingers, and then get in there with some pliers and make sure that it's tight on that tip. You can definitely solder around it. Then I've got some flux I'm going to make up, spread that underneath, use a brazing torch, and then basically silver solder all the way around here. I'll be back once I've done that. Okay, 2 secs. So we've gone from this to this, and you might be like, oh, look my filthy hands, but you might be thinking, well, why didn't Lock Noob show us the brazing process? And it's because I don't know what I'm doing with brazing. It's I'm very new to it, and I really don't want people to try doing that without taking the right safety precautions or copying me when I don't really know what I'm doing and it being dangerous. But I think considering I'm pretty new to it, I think I've actually done a reasonable job, and I've maintained the right size. Although it might be more comfortable on my middle finger, it doesn't really matter. It's all good. So what's the next stage? Well, what we need to do is get maybe some files in here, get some sandpaper in here, and sort of clean it up nicely. So this is what it looks like after a clean up with some 1000 grit. Not looking too bad, is it? But clearly I need to get a really nice polish on it. So what I'll be doing is I'll be going up the grades of sandpaper, and by that I mean these micro mesh paint pads, and these are really good actually because they're very flexible, and you can start out with your 1500 and you can even bend them and get on the inside as well. These are old pads as well, so I don't really mind if they get a bit torn up. But we're just going to go through and yeah, we're going to start out with this one, which is a 1500 grit, and work all the way down to 12,000. Then I'll, if I can, probably get out onto the buffing wheel and see if I can buff it up later, and then we'll see what it looks like at the end. So I'm just going to put this on the buffing wheel and I'll be right back. And now the last thing is a little bit of metal polish, because I find that it really helps just to sort of clean up any residue and anything like that. And here we are, the final product. As you can see, it's actually really round, like really round. I think I got that perfect. I'm happy with the way that the silver solder cleaned up all across the profile here. It's very shiny. That won't last clearly if you wear it. And I think I did it for my middle finger, didn't I? And you see, it's a really nice, comfortable fit. And from a distance, you would just think it's maybe a silver or stainless steel ring. But when you start to look at it sort of more closely, you can see here how it's clearly just one piece. Let's get that pick out to remind ourselves where we started from, where we got to. So this turned into this, just with a bit of polishing and a little bit of silver soldering. And it's just super strong, like super strong. Just that act of brazing, even just touching it, so shiny, even touching it is just adding fingerprints to the ring. Oh dear. But no, I really like this. I really like it. In fact, this is the second one that I made. I made one before, which is this one, which I also really like. It's a slightly smaller diameter and it's designed for my ring finger here. So there you go. So that's for my ring finger, and this is for my middle finger, but obviously it's just a size that I came up with. It's fine, but yeah, really, I mean, genuinely, I don't know about you, but I really like this. I think it's a neat idea. I'd love to see somebody. I've got a little bit of over solder there, but it's on the inside of the ring, so don't care. But yeah, I'd love to know what you think of this. I'd love to know if you would consider trying something like this. Like I said, I don't know how other steels would work, but I know that this soft, is it 401 or something like that? It's not 301. It's one of the 400 series, I think. But yeah, I'm just really like this idea. I think it looks really neat. I like the way that you can tell that it's a lockpick. I like the fact that I didn't try to disguise the fact that it was a lockpick, that it's very sort of honest in its approach. Yeah, it's really cool. I like it a lot anyway. Let me know what you think, and yeah, I'll see you all next time.